it really gets me like mad. Like my team is down 14-3 and I'm just getting like a Burger King ad.
And you still want to see it.
And I don't want to see that.
Yeah. Welcome to this week's episode of My Mom Calls It Soccer. I'm Michele, and I am a Liverpool fan.
I'm Chase, I call it football, and I'm a Barca fan.
And I'm Grandma, and I'm a Real Madrid fan.
And this week we're going to start off with, we took a trip to Kansas City, and we went to the FIFA World Cup volunteer tryouts. I had a tryout, and these two came along with me, so we're going to catch up on that. We're also going to catch up on a lot of action this week from Champions League and regular league play. So we are going to jump right into that. So let's talk a little bit about the volunteer tryout. You guys were not able to go in with me, but you came up and came to Union Station. And so Chase, just talk about what you saw there in Union Station and with the tryouts. And you can make fun of me for wanting to take my picture with every poster, whatever you want to say.
Well, whenever we first walked in there, I saw a huge Christmas tree. Was
that your first trip to Union Station?
Yes.
In Kansas City?
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also got to take a picture with the skeleton of a T-Rex.
Very cool.
So that was pretty cool.
There you go, because they have the Science Center.
Yeah.
There's lots of things to do in Union Station,
Mm-hmm.
and it does function as an Amtrak station. So we went there. I got to go in. It was basically an interview is what it was. They called it a tryout. None of us knew what to expect when we went in, but I had about 30 to 40 other people applying to be volunteers in my group. And one of the things that I found interesting about my group was there were a lot of people in it who did not really have a connection to soccer or football. They, were aware of it or maybe had a connection to other sports in the Kansas City area, but they were not maybe huge soccer fans or didn't know a whole lot about it, but wanted to be a part of what FIFA is doing and a part of the World Cup. And so from that, one thing I walked away with was thinking that this is an opportunity for us to, again, educate people. And that's the whole point of our podcast. And what we're trying to do is to try to help new fans connect with the game and learn what they need to learn so that they can enjoy it more. And so one of the things I want to talk about today as we go through this is I want to talk about some of the players that are on our club teams or the club teams of our matchup participants and connect them back to their national team. So kind of helping people as we talk about some of the players who did well in games this weekend or in Champions League games, helping people who are new to the sport connect them back to their national team and talk about if their national team has qualified yet, if they're trying to qualify, where they are in the process. So before we do that, we always start off with one thing we love, one thing we hated with this week's games. So let's go ahead and start with that.
One thing I loved was Rafinha's back for Barca. One thing I hated was we lost 3-0 to Chelsea.
In Champions League.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you won today.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we'll talk a little bit more update on that. But yes, I thought it's a huge thing for you to have Rafinha back.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way they play looks completely different when he's on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get Pedri back as well, I think that's going to make a huge difference.
Yep.
So, all right, Grandma, one thing you loved and one thing you hated.
I loved that Mbappe scored 4 goals in Champions League this week.
And who did you beat in Champions League?
Olympiacos.
Okay.
Olympiacos.
And that gave him a total, I think now he has a total of maybe 19 goals for the year, the season.
Not including international, I think.
Right, yeah. And
so he has 19 goals in La Liga.
For Real Madrid.
For Real Madrid.
He has 15 goals in La Liga.
Okay.
So.
Right.
Okay. So, but it does not include his goals for France.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. And that's, again, what we'll talk about with World Cup is that difference in helping people know that. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. The thing I hated is that we have yet, Real Madrid has their third draw in a row in La Liga. They are no longer top of the table.
Who's top of the table?
I believe that would be Barcelona.
Yes, I heard that on the way back from soccer workout today. So, okay, so yes, they, but it could have been worse. They did not lose. They
did not
They
lose.
were behind, so they
They
did.
actually, there were 2 times that the ball actually went in the goal, but neither of those counted. The one by Mbappe was a handball.
Yeah.
Which was his own hand, as the other was this tussle right in front of the goal, and as he was getting ready to kick, his fingertips...
His hand like stopped the bounce of it.
Yeah, it stopped the bounce of it. And then the other one was offsides.
Yeah, Vinny.
Okay, yes. But you then, Mbappe evened it up with a
Penalty
penalty
kick.
kick. Okay.
Which was as a result of Vinny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for me, one thing I loved this weekend was that Liverpool got a win in the Premier League.
Isak scored.
Isak
scored.
scored. It was a good game. They looked better, and they got a win against West Ham, so I was happy about that.
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing I hated, the one thing I hated is honestly how I have been looking at Liverpool this year. So I've had a little self-reflection today. I was watching a post from Sky Sports, and all year, and I know other Liverpool fans feel this way as well, you've come off of winning the Premier League. We talk a lot about how much money we've spent, and then we're disappointed in the result. And I was watching a post from Sky Sport, and they were talking about the fact that everyone handles grief differently. And I don't think that I have not talked any about how much the death of Diogo Jota may still be affecting this team. And that maybe instead of me asking why they aren't where I think they should be because of how much money they've spent and because they won the league last year, of maybe giving them some grace that we don't know what it's like to lose a young person in the prime of their life as a teammate. And you have this mix of the team that played with him before and went through that loss, but you've added other parts to that team who may have known him as a person or a footballer, but do not have that connection. And maybe it is we as a team are still dealing with that grief. I don't know we just don't know. And I think about myself in just my job I do every day. If I lost a teammate unexpectedly, it would affect my performance in my work. And so I am just going to take a little bit of a different approach in how I look at them as a team, and looking at them through the lens of they are a team that suffered a devastating loss in the off season, and coming back may be affecting them. So that's my thing I've hated is I just chose to reflect, and I'd like to approach it differently. So that's my one thing. Now let's talk about how everyone's teams did this week. We talked a little bit about it in terms of what we loved and hated of how our teams did, but let's talk about how some of the matchup teams did as well. So Barcelona, let's talk about how Barcelona did this week, Champions League and in league.
In the UCL, it was a very embarrassing performance against Chelsea. Lost 3-0. One of the goals being an own goal, and we got a red card from Araujo, so he'll miss the next Champions League game. There really wasn't much that we did after like 15 minutes. There's a huge Ferran chance that he had, but he absolutely he missed it. It wasn't even on target, and that could have changed the whole direction of the game, and maybe we win it. But like right after that Ferran chance, Chelsea dominated us.
Yeah.
It was very embarrassing because Chelsea, they're good, but they're not that good. Like, I don't think they're like world beaters yet, and to get dominated that much by a team that lost to Sunderland
Yeah,
at their
but,
home.
But today
Today
Chelsea
it was different.
got
Yeah.
a draw with Arsenal, one man down. So
Yeah, but I don't think. I mean, Arsenal, they were missing two of their defenders.
Yeah.
And I think they were just caught sleeping at the first part of the second half. The rest part of the second half, it was almost all Arsenal. And I get it. It was Chelsea and 10 men. And so they were just hitting them on transition. But I don't think, even with 11 men, I don't think Chelsea beat them still.
well,
I don't think this is a good Chelsea team. I think it's an embarrassment that Barca's losing that badly.
I understand you feel that way, but I think that Chelsea is maybe better than you're giving them credit for.
No.
But you guys were also
they drew
down.
they drew to a team called Karabakh.
Yes,
So.
yes. Okay, but talk about your league win today. I want to talk specifically about your league win yesterday. Sorry. The scorers, and I want us to talk about their connection back, who their national teams are, to help people understand if they connect with, if they're a Barcelona fan and they are watching players on Barcelona, how to connect that then to World Cup play. So, Dani Olmo and Lamine Yamal, right, scored both your goals.
Yeah, they're both Spanish.
So they're both Spanish. So they're both on the Spanish national team.
We only had two international players in the starting 11, in Rafinha and Lewandowski.
Yes.
Lewandowski's Polish and Rafinha Brazilian. So.
Yeah. And so is Poland qualified for the World Cup?
They're in the playoffs.
Okay, so they're in the playoffs, so they're not in yet, but Brazil is qualified.
Yes.
And Rafinha plays for Brazil.
Yeah.
So if you are a Barcelona fan, you probably are very interested in seeing Spain play in the World Cup because a lot of their players are Spanish. But then you do have Rafinha from Brazil and you have Lewandowski from Poland.
Yes.
Okay. We talked a lot about Real Madrid already and obviously how they have done. Mbappe has scored in all of those games, and Mbappe is on the French national team.
Well, he didn't score against Elche.
No, he did not.
Yeah.
But today,
He did
He
score
did
today
score,
on the penalty kick.
and he scored
he's-
in
And
Champions
against
League.
Olympiacos.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're talking about this week, then.
Yes. So against Olympiacos and against.
He's had 14 goals in 14 games
Okay.
in La Liga.
Okay. So again, my goal here is trying to help people connect because I really do think there is this need. If you are already following soccer, you understand this difference between club and national team. But for new people in and wondering about the World Cup, Scott Purrier, who we just matched up, and I think Scott was kind of joking, but when I talked about, made a post about trying out for World Cup volunteer, and he asked me if his new team that we matched him with, which is Tottenham, would be in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Brad Oliver has asked a few times about Bayern. They're just trying to get their arms around it and figure everything out. So if you are a Real Madrid fan, one of the things, if you love Mbappe, is that you might be interested in watching France. In the World Cup.
One thing that some people should know is that clubs can hold players from international teams.
Oh.
Bayern's done it a lot, so has Real Madrid. But if they're going through fatigue or maybe an injury risk, they will not allow them to go play for national teams.
But they would let them play in the World Cup.
Oh yeah.
But they won't let them play in the qualifying
they could pull
games.
them back.
Okay.
If they want authority over the national team, they could threaten to hey, you're
hold
not
them.
going to have this guy at the World Cup.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting all the differences between them all. Okay, let's talk about Bayern Munich. So they beat St. Pauli this weekend, and Rafael Guerreiro scored for them, and he is on the Portugal national team.
Okay.
And they are qualified, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so they will be playing in the World Cup, and that is also the team that Ronaldo will be on,
Yep.
correct? Okay. And then Luis Diaz also got a goal in that game and an assist. And for those of you that don't know, he was on Liverpool last year and plays for the Colombia national team.
Yeah.
And they have also qualified, correct? So again, for Brad, as a Bayern Munich fan and watching them and connecting with those are players that then he can watch in the World Cup play for their national teams and have some interest in that. Man United, our friends Emily and Nick were happy this weekend because Man United beat Crystal Palace, and they were down 1-0,
Yeah,
I think, in the beginning
they were.
of that. And they had, for Crystal Palace, Mateta.
Philippe
scored?
Mateta.
Yes, and
Yeah.
he's French. Is that correct?
Yep.
So again, somebody who would be on the French national team.
Mhm.
And then for Man United, Xerxes.
Yeah,
scored?
Joshua Zirkzee.
Okay. And if I read this correct, he's Dutch,
Mm-hmm.
so for the Netherlands, but maybe is trying to win a place on the national team. So when I went out and looked, it looks like maybe he's played on the national team, but he hasn't played for them for a while, and maybe
Yeah.
he has been struggling a little bit.
Well, he's
so-
been injured.
Okay.
So.
And is he newer to Man United?
He got
Or-
signed last season.
Okay. Okay. So and I also read, I think, that maybe Man United is looking to trade him
Really?
in January.
Trade?
Well,
Or transfer?
Okay. I don't know. I'm probably using the wrong words.
Yeah. Trade deals rarely happen.
Okay, so in January there's an open window.
Yeah.
Okay, for transfers. Is that the right thing to say?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Signings. Yeah.
But looking at staying in the Premier League, and it sounded like maybe Aston Villa.
Oh,
So, but maybe because a chance to play more.
yeah.
Which Aston Villa is really making a move up the table, aren't they?
Exactly. So Aston Villa, we matched Abbey O with Aston Villa, and they really started off the season slow. And I believe they are fourth on the
Third.
table now.
Fourth.
They're fourth.
I think
Yeah.
Man City is third.
Second.
Correct. Second. So Chelsea is 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yes, Aston Villa has really come on, and I followed them on their social media, and it was super fun to watch them after their win today in the tunnel. So, so it looks like he could potentially move there. And then the other person who scored for Man United was Mason Mount, who is English but is not on the national team.
Yeah, I think he used to play for the national team, but he's at a dip in form.
Yes. So it is interesting because just because someone is playing in the top leagues, they may not be on their national team.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting with both of those players. We talked about Liverpool finally won today. And Isak got his first goal, as you mentioned, for Liverpool in the Premier League. So that was exciting. He is from Sweden, correct?
But I think he's also played for Zimbabwe.
Okay. Okay. So
But he's now like playing for the Swedish
he's playing for
national
the Swedish
team.
national team. They have not qualified yet. They are in that playoff.
I think so.
Yeah,
He hasn't done real well
Okay.
with them.
He hasn't done real well with us either.
Yeah.
So maybe today was a turning point.
That's what happens when you don't train in the summer.
Yeah,
You know, you
yeah.
lose form.
Yeah. So maybe he is finally catching up to being fit
Yeah.
enough to be out there playing. Cody Gakpo, I don't know why I'm struggling with names today, but he scored today. He was also player of the match, and he is with the Netherlands also.
Yep.
And there are a lot of players for Liverpool who are from the Netherlands. So
yeah. Well, their coach is Dutch. So.
yeah, so Van Dijk and Gravenberch. Frimpong. So all of those players will potentially be on the Dutch national team. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So again, if you're connecting with Liverpool,
I think they're all starters.
okay.
So.
If you are a Liverpool fan and then you were looking to transfer that this summer in the World Cup, and who can you watch and who might you be interested in, that is potentially a team that you would be interested in. And personally, I love their kits and their colors because their color is orange.
Yeah, it's
and
nice.
I love it. It's different from anyone else.
Anybody else.
And so if you are looking for a national team to be interested in, I mean, if you have no other reason, their kits are super cool. It's
Yeah.
a team to watch.
They're a dark horse for the World Cup. I think they'll make it far.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
mean, they definitely seem to have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
So definitely. Hi, Neymar. Okay. And then Arsenal and Chelsea ended in a draw. We have a couple of Arsenal fans that we have done in matchup, and Arsenal's still at the top of the table. They're still a few points ahead, but it was.
I think they have a 5-point lead
Yeah,
over
5-point.
second.
Okay, so we have a lot of dog help today. For those of you who are watching us on YouTube and can see us, the dogs are really wanting to be a part of the podcast today. Okay, so as we continue to help fans learn more about the game, one of the things that I like to do is to compare and contrast it with American sports. And I have had this discussion a couple of times where I do think there is some similarity when you are first coming into watching soccer/football and you don't really know what you're watching. To me, it reminds me a little bit of when people first try to watch baseball. And so, Grandma, you have been a longtime baseball fan.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about when you learn more and more about baseball and you watch more and more, how you have a better understanding of the game? And are you seeing that happen as you're learning more and more about soccer, football?
Yes, I am learning that. In baseball, it can be a frustrating game, just like football is. Sometimes, even though everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, there's no score. And you have to get used to that. We've sat through a lot of baseball games that ended 1-0.
Yes, that's true.
And in soccer, football, you can have one end in 0-0.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that you have to get used to, is the fact that there's not always going to be a big score like you have in American football.
Do you find, are you understanding better now when they have set pieces? So that's one thing. In baseball, I think sometimes there is play that's happening between the pitcher, the catcher, first base, throwing over, throwing down to second, keeping someone from stealing. And those are intricacies that maybe, and when you first start watching the game, you don't understand. And set pieces remind me a little bit of that.
A little bit of that, yes, because they're going to line up to try to keep the ball from going to the goal if there's a penalty kick. But I don't always understand when there's a corner kick. I'm still trying to figure.
When is there a corner kick?
When the ball's kicked out by the opposition and it goes past the goalie line, like past the end line. Yeah.
Okay. So if it goes out of bounds past the goal on either side, that's going to be a corner kick. If it was on the defending team.
Yeah.
So then the offensive team on that end is going to get to throw it from the corner.
From the corner.
Yeah.
Sometimes the ref can make bad calls, like right before it goes out, maybe the offensive player accidentally touched it with a little bit of his foot, but they're not going to go over and review that because it's such a small detail.
So they would not review that in VAR.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I think those kind of set pieces, and again, we're still learning in terms of when is a free kick and how they set up with free kicks and corner kicks and things like that. But that is something that I think casually watching, I didn't necessarily pay that much attention to or notice the difference. Where now, when I'm watching my team play and we get a corner kick, I'm super excited because I know that's increasing our chance to score. Correct?
Yes.
Would you say that's correct?
If you're good at them.
Yeah.
Right.
If you have good
Because
set
we
pieces.
saw Messi make a corner kick when we went to Houston, Texas.
Yes, from a corner.
From a
it was
corner,
knocked
and
on
then
from
it was
Enzo,
Yeah. So the other thing that then it got me thinking about when I was thinking about this today, and this is a weird tangent to go off on, but one of the things that I have started to really enjoy about watching soccer/football is the lack of commercials. And
Yes.
the games are quick. And one of the things that has happened, if you are a baseball fan and you watch baseball is making a lot of changes to the game to try to increase viewership. And I have some conflicted feelings about that. Because, for example, soccer has not been as popular in the United States, but I don't think that they have changed the game here to try to get more people interested.
Yeah.
Right.
And I am a big believer in the integrity of the game. And so it occurred to me today with baseball that they have done things to make games shorter because they feel like people can't pay attention that long.
Yeah.
So they have limited how often a player can throw over to first base. They have put a pitch clock on. They have done things to try to speed the game up. It is interesting.
If it's scored, I mean, if it's tied after 9 innings,
Yes, you put the you put the runner on second. And so they have done all these things to try to quicken the game. And the one thing they have not ever considered or suggested doing is eliminating some of the advertising. And you may say, well, but a game is still long in person. It is, but if you're at an MLB game in person, one of the reasons it takes so long is because you do have TV timeouts, because that game is being shown on TV. And so I just find it interesting that baseball has not at any point looked at what could we do to eliminate some of that advertising and do it in a different way where, you know, one of the things like Brad, I think, Oliver, who is one of our participants, is kind of weirded out by the jerseys, the kits, having sponsors on them. But one of the things you get by doing that is the sponsor has an interest in is getting exposure, but we aren't having to stop and watch a 30-second or 60-second ad and the action having to stop to do that.
Right.
So I just think it's an interesting concept and maybe a very American thing where we would never consider eliminating some of the advertising from the game to help it have more pace and flow.
Yeah.
But instead we are changing the game itself. So kudos to football / soccer for not doing that and the integrity of sticking with the game.
I think one thing that ads do is sometimes, like, if you're, like, losing and you're watching your American football team and you just get bombarded with, like, these ads that are, like, happy go, it really gets me, like, mad. Like, my team is down 14-3 and I'm just getting, like, a Burger King ad.
And you still want to see it.
And I don't want to see that.
Yeah. That's kind of how I felt watching
takes
the
away the
Chiefs game on
seriousness.
Thanksgiving. It was, I didn't want to see any happy ads. I was not happy.
And then you get like ad music on that as well, like showing like replays of the game and it's playing music over it.
Yes.
It kind of takes like seriousness away from it, and it shouldn't be because it's American football. It's supposed to be, you know, gritty, hard, and stuff like that.
It is one of the things that I've really come to love about soccer is that you sit and you watch a half and then the half is over
and then they play ads.
You get a little break and then you come back and it is a quicker sport to watch than most American sports. The next thing I want to talk about is that one of the things that we are trying to build as we try to become a hub and a place for information for new fans and helping new people connect with the sport and learn more about it is we are going to be actively reaching out to supporter groups across the United States to connect with them. And we're going to be starting with supporter groups for the teams that we are fans of, as well as the teams that we've matched our matchup participants with as a starting place. But we would love to connect with any and all supporter groups that are out there. And we want to talk with you. We want to talk about things that we can do to help provide content that helps you attract new people to be a part of your group. And we want to interview you. We want to talk with you, talk about what your club does on game days, where you watch, how you connect. And we really want to just do everything that we can to get integrated with the supporter groups. And then selfishly, I would love for us to be able to create supporter groups here in our hometown for our teams. So watch for that. That's something that we really hope to roll out starting in January, is having some of those members of supporter groups on with us to talk with us and give you, who are new fans, people to connect with in your communities and to learn more about the sport from. And then the last thing I want to talk about today is another way to connect, and this is something that Chase got us to do late last night, but it's something I've done with American football, and it did help me have more and more interest so that I wasn't just interested in my personal team, but I cared about players and I learned a lot more about the sport, and that is playing fantasy. So Chase, tell us about Premier League Fantasy. We signed up last night and created a league. And
so the Fantasy League is like an official Premier League fantasy sports league. You get maybe a certain amount of money to spend.
We're not sure. We thought we had a money limit, but then we couldn't tell how much our players cost. And
I spent $500 million. So but You have to draft 15 players. It's 3 goalkeepers, I believe, 5 or 4 defenders. No, 5 defenders, 5 midfielders, and 3 forwards. Or no, wait, it's 2 goalkeepers, and then
that's
5
right,
and
2 goalkeepers.
5,
yes.
5, and 3.
Okay.
And so you draft them, and you can assemble your team however you want. So you can put players up there or take players off, not just based on like injury or anything, or like if they got a red card, but also like who they're facing. So
Right.
if they will probably get the ball more and they're a forward, you might want to put like your bench player on there instead of your starter.
Because they have a better matchup.
Yes.
And that's what I do with my NFL fantasy team
Yeah.
too, is a lot of times it is who they're matched up
Yes.
against, and making those choices that way. So,
Because like I got Igor Thiago, and he's going to play against Arsenal in the midweek. So I flipped him out for Mateta because he's probably not going to get the ball against that Arsenal defense as much, and
Okay.
he might not score. And I think Mateta might be going up against Leeds.
and Mateta is with Crystal Palace.
Yes. And so,
Look.
that might be easy food for Mateta.
Okay. So one of the things when you brought it up, I was like, yeah, but it's in the middle of the season.
Mhm.
And you made the point, one, they'll let you set it up at any time that you want. And the Premier League season goes on for so long
Yeah.
that we could go ahead and set it up and start right here. So,
And it's still like at the start. It's not even like at the halfway point.
Right.
So.
Right.
Right. So for people out there, if you are interested and you're trying to connect and you're thinking about it, you could join an existing league,
Yes.
I believe, like
Yes.
just a big one that Premier League is doing,
Mhm.
or you could start your own league, and that's what we did. We started our own league, and so. And I think it would be great next year if maybe at the beginning of the season we hosted a league
Yeah.
and we invited people to be a part of it. Maybe we host a couple of different leagues, but I'm looking forward to that because I picked players who were on different teams, and I know that it will make me more interested in what's happening in their games and how they're doing, and I will learn more about them just from doing that. So thank you for encouraging us to do that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about?
I have a question for Chase, if you know the answer to this. Okay, if you foul a player, is there a limit to the number of fouls you can have in a game? I mean, it doesn't get you a yellow card.
I guess.
Or does it just, if you get so many of them, then the
Eventually
ref
they
is
card
more
you.
eventually
Yeah.
going to card you?
It's not
Okay.
a certain amount that they hit and then you get a yellow card, but it's like if you do like 2 reckless fouls, you might get a yellow card. But if you do like 4 like tiny fouls, then you might get a
You
yellow
might still
card.
get a yellow card.
And if you keep like doing fouls, it's like very quickly.
Eventually,
a yellow
you're
card.
going to.
Sometimes you can do 1 foul and get a yellow.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's not like a basketball where like you can foul out or anything.
Right.
It's the ref's decision. So.
Okay.
Will you talk about the red card today against Chelsea and why? So when we were watching it, and I mentioned to you, the announcers were immediately like, that is a red card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure. I saw it, and when I was watching it, to me it didn't look that violent, but you saw it and you were like, oh yeah, immediately that's a red card. So
Yeah.
help us understand why.
So first of all, Mourinho already passes it like right before the challenge is made. So after that, there's basically no intent of ball.
Okay.
And his studs were up, and he's going kind of like in the shin area. Basically, he's taking him out, and the ball's nowhere near him after that. So it makes sense for it to be a red card. Studs up, it hits the leg. No intent of the ball being played. So
He was just going
it was a bad
take
one.
him out.
Yeah. He wasn't intending to foul him. He just got there late. But after the ball's passed, you can't do a foul
that.
like
But
that.
that's my question. How do you control getting there late? Like, you just got to be better. Like when I try to take the ball from you,
Well,
I'm
you can
late
try
all the
and-
time.
But that can be like red card can be credited to Marino. He sells it well, first of all,
Okay.
and he gets the pass off quickly. But also, you can take your foot out. You can, maybe try and lean out. Don't go studs up as
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
making a better
Like
choice.
tuck,
Just making a better
bend your
tackle.
knee.
Yeah.
It's kind
At
of
least
like-
just like step on the foot, but he stepped on the shin area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Near the ankle and stuff. And that can injure a player.
Okay. It's kind of like in the NFL now where they have the rule about roughing the passer, and that if you are in the act of
Yeah.
tackling him as he's passing the ball, you have to make some sort of effort to not land with all of your weight on
Yeah.
him. So if he had made an effort to pull up or it looked like
Yeah.
he was trying, then maybe it would have been. Would it have been then a yellow card?
It would have probably been a yellow. Caicedo was already fouling a lot before, and that
Yeah,
might have been why they gave him
He was
a
the one that
red.
they said played angry. Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's known as like an angry
Kind of an
player.
enforcer type player.
Yeah, he's a box-to-box midfielder. He's very rough.
Okay.
So
Is he a dirty player or just a rough
he's
player?
not dirty. He's just rough.
Okay.
Okay, before we go, I do have one more question. Okay. I want to know what the penalty area is. Is it where the square box
Like where a
lines?
foul occurs and it's a pen.
Uh-huh.
That's just like the outer box, basically. Not like in that little box area.
Like the
I
big
think that's what you're talking
rectangle
about.
around
The-
the
Like
big-
not like the
sorry.
6-yard box, but the big
Big
18-yard box.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So
Okay. Thank you.
And if you're on the line of that, are you considered in the box or out of the box?
off like the line of the box.
If you get fouled, like you're standing on the line of the box and you get fouled, are you going to get a penalty kick or are you
Yeah,
going to
you
get a
get
free
the
kick?
you get the pen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like on the pitch, on the line, you're still in.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay.
Yes, and Mbappe recovered
Yeah, it was a bad
one.
call.
That was a bad call.
Yeah.
He
Did you
was,
see that one?
No.
The ball, they called it out of bounds.
And it wasn't.
Yeah, it
It
wasn't. And the referee from like the other side, it was he just didn't have a good angle on it.
Mm-hmm.
And Mbappe saved it and kept it in,
That,
but they
that
called
happens.
it out.
It
Yeah.
happens a lot.
Yeah.
So
Okay, very good. We will see you next week. We'll have updates on games and hopefully we'll have some updates on some supporter groups as well. We'll see you next time.